Hey guys, I'm TheJinzo97, done a video for MCO40 before, but this is in response to his video about Sylvans being confusing. Now, I've seen a lot of people who have been confused about how this deck works, and like the basic strategies and combos of it. So I'm gonna give an in-depth look into the deck because I run it and I feel like I have a good understanding of it. So this is gonna be kind of a how-to, for anybody that wants to play Sylvans. So start off with some of the newer cards. Should be the Sage Koya, and the Princess Sprout, which are two of the new cards from Primal Origins. Now these two, well, first let's go over Sage Koya. Sage Koya is something the deck really needed. It's a level 7, so you can go into your Draco Sack, your Big Eye, and not to mention the newest addition to the deck, Aurea, the Sylvan High Arbiter, which is a generic rank 7 as well. Now, these three cards are going to be the cards you want to get out with any level 7s in the deck you have. Now, Sage Koya is going to be your main level 7 because you want to play him at 3 at all times. You never want to play him at less than 3 because when a monster is sent to the graveyard, when a Sylvan monster is, you can special summon from your hand. Now, for those of you who think Sage Koya misses timing, when a monster is excavated and activates his effect in the grave, he doesn't. So let's say I excavated a Princess Sprout to the grave. So Princess Sprout go to the grave. I could activate Sage Koya's effect. Summon Sage Koya from my hand. Special summon because a monster starts to the grave. There's a Sylvan, and Princess Sprout's ability, I can bring it back as a level 7. It can modulate its level between 1 and 8 when it comes back from the grave. So if I do that, I can automatically go into a Big Eye. So the rank 7 plays are a lot faster because of these two cards, and well, actually Sage Koya makes the level 7 plays possible, but Princess Sprout makes them a lot faster as well. So if you want to play rank 7s in the build, like my build, I play a speedy Xyz build, kind of like just get as many Xyz out as possible, clear the board and attack with them. It's not what all the Sylvan decks do, but it's pretty generic, but I'll have a profile on my channel. Also, guys, if you wouldn't mind going down in the description below, hopefully MCO40 will have a link to my channel, and go check it out. Get some awesome videos. Hopefully doing an update on my profile soon, probably today. So just remember to go check that out. So if you like the discussion, please go subscribe to my channel. Click that button below. So now that I've talked about that, alright, so that's the rank 7 stuff that you can do now. Hermitry is going to be your generic rank 8. Sylvan Hermitry, he's one of the Legacy of Valiant ones. He's a level 8. Now, the deck focuses on excavating, which means that you would take like the top card from your deck and reveal it. So, that's a bottomless trap hole. I'm not going to talk about that. That'd be stupid. But if it's a plant type monster, you would put it in the grave, and all the Sylvans get their effects off when they go into the graveyard if they're excavated. They have primary effects when they're summoned and stuff, but they also have secondary effects, all of them do, when they're excavated. Hermitries is that you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, so you can scry 3 for people who play Magic, you'll understand that, and then you can put him back on top of the deck in any order you want. So he is a not peaking oven, a spellbook organization for Sylvans, if you know what that card does. So when he's on the field, you can activate his effect, which is what I love, is that you can activate top card of your deck. Now, most of the time during the deck, you're going to know what the top card of your deck is, because you're going to have like strategies that put stuff at the top. So, like if I had a Peacekeeper and I had a monster in the grave that was level 4 or lower, like so say I had Komashima, I want to get Komashima back, put Peacekeeper on top of the deck with something, Hermitry's effect, excavate Peacekeeper, go to the grave to special summon the Shumo. Now, when you excavate them though, when you excavate a plant type monster with Hermitry's effect, you get to draw a card, so he's also draw power. Now, there's also many ways to get him out in this deck. You have the Fire Blossoms, the Miracle Fertilizers, the Soul Charge. You have so many things you can get him out with in this deck, which makes him really good. Because you don't normally have to tribute for him. You can tribute for him if that's what you want to do. If you have weak monsters, there are some weak monsters in this deck, but he's very easy to get out, and you can overlay into your Felgrand and such with him. So that's Hermitry. He's one of the boss monsters in the deck. Then 3 Sylvan Peacekeepers, which is what I play. Now, Peacekeeper is a great card. When he is excavated, you can special summon a level 4 or lower plant type monster from your grave. Now, this is very important because you can only get out your tuners, your Spore and Copy Plant, or Dandy, if you wanted to get Dandy out. But you can get out your Fire Blossoms from the grave. which the Oilfire Blossoms are the things that make this deck happen, basically. Or you can get it out of Princess Sprout if you desire to do so, because you can bring it out and then overlay with a Peacekeeper or level 1 if you have one on the field. I do play Cycler Magician in my deck, so usually there's a lot of level 1s, but also it's not that bad if you normal summon him, because whenever he's normal or special summon, you can excavate 1. So Peacekeeper is just a great card all around. I love Peacekeeper personally. I would never cut him down. People have been cutting him down 2 and 1. It's really kind of ignorant. Next card is going to be Kamishima. Kamishima, when he's excavated, can pop a spell or trap on the field regardless of position. It can be face or face down, pops a spell or trap, and then if he's not excavated and you play him face down, whenever he's flipped face up, that can be by attacking, or when you flip him, whenever he's flipped face up, you can excavate 5 cards, which is incredibly helpful in the deck. And he's a fire, so he's a target for Blaster. I'll go over the targets because I do play 2 Dragon Rulers. Sylvan Martial Leaf, what he does when he's excavated is you can pop a monster on the field, and then when he's normal summon, you can excavate 1 to 2. Flower Knight excavates 1. He gets your. Also, when he's excavated, you can put a Sylvan card on top of your deck, so he gets your charities. I only play 2 tuners, Spore and Copy Plant. Those are pretty self-explanatory. So is Dandelion. Now, Oilfire Blossom, if you don't know what he does, he tributes himself, summons 2 plant-type monsters from the deck. And that is any plant monster, by the way. It's not just a plant monster of level whatever or lower, any level or attack. Any plant monster. So Oilfire Blossom is semi-limited. If he was not, you would play him at 3. I would not play him at 2. That's just want to put that out there. Alright, I'll play 1 plant princess in my build because she's a pretty generic, but she's a level 8 to overlay in Hermitry with, and if you don't, you can get her out easily with Oilfire or Miracle Fertilizer, but if you don't want to overlay with her and your opponent kills her by either battle or by card effect, if an opponent's card kills her, she can become a Oilfire and switch summon any plant from the deck, so she's very good. Fallen Angel of Roses, you can bounce 1 card on your field back to your hand, or 1 monster, special summoner, she's a level 7. So if you had a card on the field as well as a Sage Koya, and let's say you had a Flower Knight for some reason, if you somehow got that field set up, you could bounce back Flower Knight, special Fallen Angel Roses, overlay into Aurea, Big Eye, or Draco. So that's one of your rank 7 plays you do with Fallen Angel Roses. I'm actually personally liking this card a lot because I've been testing it. And then 2 Dragon Rulers is sort of a plant ruler deck. There's 6 copies for Tempest and 7 for Blaster in this deck, so they're very easy to get out. That's your other rank 7 play. So then there's not too many cards I want to talk about after that have to do with Sylvan specifically. Sylvan Charities. It's a graceful charity for Sylvans. You draw 3, put 1 Sylvan card and 1 regular or any other card from your hand on top of your deck in any order. And if you don't have a Sylvan card in your hand, you put all your cards in your hand on top of the deck in any order. Whoa. Alright. Yeah, by the way, my iPad is very... Well, my iPhone is very precariously perched right now, so if it falls, that's... But... so, after that, there's going to be 2 Mount Sylvanias. It's the field spell. You can put 1 Sylvan from your hand, or 1 plant from your hand or your field to graveyard to put a card, a Sylvan card on top of your deck. So I don't play 2 of those in my build. It's not too good, but it is what it is. So those are all the Sylvan cards that I really want to talk about. So I'm gonna go over some of the combos some of the simpler combos that I can explain. So I already showed you the combos with Sage Koya and Tempest and Blaster, the Sage Koya, the Fallen Angel combo with Sage Koya, stuff like that. But there's a couple of other strategies as well as the Princess Sprout. Princess Sprout's very good. She's very versatile. I'll go over some stuff with her. Now, I'll go over that right now. Alright, so Princess Sprout, when she's excavated, she can come back to the field as any level between 1 and 8. So she can come back to the field. If you have a Sage Koya, become a rank 7. She can come back to the field as an 8. If you have a Cherubume or a Hermitry, she can become a level 8, go into a rank 8. She can come back as a 4 with Flower Knight. And if you decide to overlay 4s, you can go into a 101. So that's very helpful. A Martial Leaf come back as a Zenmains. If you want to do it with a Spore or Copy Plant or any level 1 like a Peacekeeper, you come back as a Cycler Magician. So she can become any level of the cards in this deck. She's very, 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 very versatile. So I love Sylvan Princess Sprout. Thinking about bumping her up to 2 might be able personally. So I already went over Peacekeeper. He gets stuff back from the grave. Alright, so the Lone Fires are going to be the cards that you do most of your combos with. So when Peacekeeper's activated, you can special summon him from the grave. You can also get him back with a Miracle Fertilizer, or a Soul Charge, or stuff like that. So there's a bunch of stuff that you can get him out with. And when he's gotten out, you can get most of your cards that are hard to normally get out. Like you can get out Hermitry. I usually go into Hermitry with him, or a Sage Koya if you wanted it, or a Trubume, Dandelion. Every now and then, I rarely ever do that though. Flower Knight, Marshall Leaf, so stuff like that. And then if you need a tuner, you can go to Spore as well, or a Copy Plant. So he can just, Lone Fire can just search out any plant from your deck. There are cards that you would never do that with, but there's a lot of cards, in here that if you need it in a tight spot, you could search them out always with Lone Fire. So you don't really want to banish Lone Fire, even though it's a target for Blaster, because you're always going to want to use him. Lone Fire is probably the best card in the deck by far. It's just generic plant, but it's so good. Now, with Mount Sylvania, one thing you could do with that would be to get a card in the grave. You could ditch a Dandelion, so that would go into the grave to. Alright, so that would pay Sylvania's effect to put a Sylvan on top of the deck. Now, when Dandelion goes to the grave, that also clears the way to bring out 2 fluff tokens. These are sheep tokens, not fluff tokens, but they're the closest thing to fluff tokens in my mind. So you bring out 2 tokens, you get the Dandelion tokens, Dandy tokens, and then if you had a Lone Fire, you get summon Lone Fire, pop one of the tokens because they are plant type monster, and then get out plant type monster from your deck. So Dandy's very good to use with that, and then you could put a card on top like Peacekeeper, recycle Dandy, do it again, and then stuff like that. So you can create a short-term loop with that. Now, one thing with Spore is that if you don't know what he does, you can banish the plant type monster from your grave. It comes back as level 1 plus that many levels. So Dandelion you can banish, coming back as level 4. And if you had a level 7, let's see, so you had Sage Koya, that would give way for a Star Eater. So Spore is very good in the effect that he can come back as any level, basically, that you banish with. Of course, there are no level 14 synchros, but, that's kind of obvious. So, there's so many things you can do. Now, with Komashimo, what you can do is that you can flip him up. If he doesn't get destroyed, if he lives, flip him up, excavate 5, get whatever you want in the grave. And then you can do, since he is a level 2 or lower, you can Super Soul or Nutrient with him to get out a Lone Fire, because that's what you usually want to do, is you want to try to get a Lone Fire, or a, so it can go up to level 5, or a Flower Knight, or, where is it? Oh no, I took that card out. But yeah, no. So these are the 3 that you could probably look for with Komashimo. And if you decide to do it with Peacekeeper, you can go for anything like these. But it's very versatile with the monsters in this deck. Now, Sylvan Charity is probably the last one I'm gonna go over. It's when you activate this, you draw 3. Draw whatever 3 you want, or whatever 3 on top of your deck. Then you would put a Sylvan and a regular card back on top of your deck. Now let's say you had a card, that wasn't necessarily a Sylvan card, so it didn't really go with any combos you had. God, I keep moving that. All right, but but yeah, I'm really sorry, guys. But yeah, so you can get out if you had it. Something in your hand that you wouldn't mind getting rid of and drawing again, so like a Solemn Warning, let's say, you put Hermitry on top, Solemn Warning, you put him face down on top of the deck like that. You could excavate a Hermitry if you had a Sylvania in the field. The next turn you draw your Solemn Warning. You could do something with the Hermitry. It's just, it basically allows you to not only draw 3 or draw plus or get a +1 because you put 2 back, but it also allows you to plan ahead a lot. Second, actually I'll talk about this one too. This is one of the decks that uses Soul Charge very well. Soul Charge, it can get out Hermitry, it can get out Lone Fire, it can get out Sage Koya, and I don't even know why I'm going on. It can get out anything, any monsters for the small cost of 1,000 life points per monster. There's a Soul Charge uses this very well because it's especially useful in my books. I go for the speedy XCs. So speaking of the XCs, there's only one that I really have to explain. It's going to be Aurea, the Sylvan High Arbiter. Because, or, well, actually, I'll explain both the Sylvans. This one's one of the older ones, so I'll go over it first. It's basically, you can, I'll just read you its effect. You can, once per turn, you can declare one card name, excavate top card of your deck. If it is the declared card, add it to your hand, otherwise send it to the graveyard. So, if you don't want it in your hand, you want it in the graveyard. Let's say you had like a Blaster or a Tempest that you stacked on top, and you had him. You declare some random name, you get Blaster, Tempest, and Grave, and then a secondary effect, if a monster was sent from the deck to the grave this turn, you can attach an Xyz material, bounce a card your opponent controls. Who sets any card. So, Alcei is very good if there's troublesome cards in the field, and if you want to get one of your cards from top of the deck into the grave, he does both. Aurea, the Sylvan High Arbiter, is incredibly good if you have a Hermitry or a Sage Koya in your hand. Alright, so let's just say, alright, so it's either one of these Sylvans in your hand. Alright, so Aurea, you can send a card from your hand to the grave, a plant type monster, so you send one of these because they have high levels, right? Because it says then you can look at the top cards of your deck equal to the number of levels that monster had or sent to the grave. So, so in Hermitry put in the grave, you can look at the top 8 cards, organize them any way you want, and then excavate 3 cards. So you can put a Komashumo, Peacekeeper, anything like that you wanted to excavate on top of the deck. It's just, it clears the way for a lot of combos that you could do with excavating. Aurea just makes them happen so much faster. So it's there to set up plays when you need plays. I mean, if it's early game and you're ahead, or if it's late game and you're ahead, or you don't really need to do anything, I wouldn't suggest wasting him. If you have to go into a rank 7 and you don't really have anything that you need Aurea for, try to go into a Gaia, a Big Eye, a Draco, any other generic rank 7 that you think that would be more useful than this, because it's not a good card to waste. It's not very recyclable, I guess you'd say. I mean, you could get it out with Lone Fire, but I mean, you're not gonna get the excavation factor without the overall unit. So don't waste him. Go for something like this. That's why they're in here. Because if you want to exceed quickly like I do. But that's basically the video. So remember to go subscribe to Uncle 40's channel, and hopefully Robbie will have a link down in my description below. Go check out my channel for more awesome videos, and I guess I'll see y'all next time wherever it is. Later, guys.